Michael Servetus, bright, educated, and very intelligent. He lived when the Renaissance was in full swing, and the Protestant Reformation had begun. No better time? For Servetus, it was a formula for death. Michael Servetus was born in Aragon, Spain in 1511. He studied Latin, Hebrew, and Greek, and was very gifted in them.
Born in Spain. Went to the university at the age of 13. Went on to school, went to another university at the age of 16.
At the urging of his father, he studied law at the University of Toulouse. Regardless of where he was or what he was doing, his vast interest in areas of study caused him to think deeply. Before he was 21 years old, he began publishing. Reading the Bible, he was surprised that the Trinity was not explicitly stated or defined.
Michael Servetus studied the Bible, and he realized he studied it, and the Trinity was not in the Bible. It's not in the Bible at all.
In July of 1531, he published On the Errors of the Trinity. He believed God is one, and that he was not three persons. He wrote that Jesus was the manifestation of this one God, as a man, and what is called the Son. The invention of the printing press had loosed thought and discussion. In the following months, he published Dialogues on the Trinity and On the Justice of Christ's Reign. To no avail, his books were confiscated and was sought after by the Spanish Inquisition.
He believed that Jesus was the Son of the eternal God.
He fled to France and took the pseudonym Michael of Villanueva to avoid persecution. Servetus went on to Paris to study mathematics and medicine and worked 12 years as a physician in Vienna. He was the first doctor to challenge and scientifically argue against the theories of Galen, which had predominated medical schools worldwide for 14 centuries, most notably and correctly about the pulmonary circulation of the blood. But all the while, deep in biblical and theological thought, he was preparing his major work called The Restoration of Christianity. In 1546, he began to correspond with chief reformer John Calvin, now pastoring in Geneva, Switzerland. Years later, in 1553, when Servetus finished his restoration work, he sent a copy to Calvin. When Calvin saw it, though it was under a pseudonym, it dawned on him it must be Servetus. And John Calvin turned him in to the Catholic Inquisition in France. Servetus was promptly arrested and thrown in jail and interrogated. But not for long, because Servetus escaped. But where does he go? He was wanted in Spain and France. He thought, well, I've sent my work to Calvin in Geneva. Perhaps he'll accept me there. And Servetus boldly went to Geneva.
And Michael boldly went to Geneva to John Calvin's church, and when he arrived at John Calvin's church, he was immediately thrown into jail for his beliefs.
Recognized in Geneva at John Calvin's church, he was arrested and tried for heresy. He was sentenced to burn at the stake. Calvin, in a lame attempt, asked that Servetus be mercifully beheaded. The council insisted he should be burned at the stake.
They were after him all the time because of his belief that he didn't agree with the Trinity. And he was burned at the stake. They turned around, and when he burned him, they put straw on his head and wet it so it would burn slower. And they put sulfur on his head so it would burn hotter.
Spectators were impressed by the tenacity of Servetus' faith.
Calvin wanted Michael to say that Jesus is the eternal Son of God. Michael Servetus says, I believe that he is the Son of the eternal God.
On October 27, 1553, perishing in the flames, he is said to have cried out, O Jesus, Son of the eternal God. A witness to the execution observed that Servetus, defiant to the last, might have been saved had he but called upon Jesus, the eternal Son. Michael Servetus. His life, his passion, came violently to a close. But his testimony and bravery has sparked millions to a faith which upholds the deity of Jesus Christ, yet retains the strict monotheism central to the Scripture. No man, when he hath lighted a candle, covereth it with a vessel, or put it under a bed, but setteth it on a candlestick, that they which enter in may see the light. For nothing is secret that shall not be made manifest, neither anything hid that shall not be known and come abroad.